Man-Thing is coming to the MCU and may make his MCU debut in the upcoming Werewolf by Night Halloween special on Disney+. So of course a while ago we found out that we are getting a Werewolf by Night Halloween special for Disney+, set within the MCU. It's the MCU's first Halloween special. We know we're also getting a holiday special with the Guardians of the Galaxy later this year, but we're getting a Halloween special with the Werewolf by Night. Now, we don't have many details on this other than the fact that Michael Giacchino is going to be directing it, and actually that we have Gael Garcia Bernal actually cast in the role of Werewolf by Night. So that's pretty much everything we know so far. I believe they've begun filming possibly even a couple months ago now, and I'm assuming it's going to release in October. But then again, you never know, they might be saving it for next year. But anyway, today we have the brand new news that supposedly Man-Thing will be appearing in this Halloween special. And this news is coming at us from Lizzie Hill over at the Cosmic Circus, who has been spot on with all of her scoops lately when it comes to the MCU. So, of course, don't take this as confirmation until Marvel Studios officially announces it or anything, but definitely take it with quite a bit of validity. So, Man-Thing. Who is Man-Thing, for those of you who don't know? Well, first of all, a lot of people just think of him as a ripoff of Swamp Thing, of course, the DC character Swamp Thing, but actually Man-Thing came out a couple months before Swamp Thing ever did. Man-Thing came out in, I think, like October, November, and then Swamp Thing didn't come out until that next May. So Man-Thing came first, and, you know, Swamp Thing, that series on DC Universe was amazing, but then they canceled it. So, you know, if DC's not going to use their Swamp character to their advantage, then I guess Marvel will, and I think this is great. And honestly, the Halloween special is the best place to do it because, I mean, Man-Thing, he's a swampy Halloween monster, so it makes sense. This just is the perfect opportunity to introduce him. And actually, we've had many references to him in the MCU in the past, because we actually had a reference to him in Thor Ragnarok, with his face actually being up on the Grandmaster's tower. Of course, referencing the fact that he was actually one of the Grandmaster's former champions before the Hulk. That was where we also saw Beta Ray Bill and Ares, I believe, as well. Man-Thing was specifically name-dropped in an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which we don't really know if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is really canon, but either way, he was name-dropped there. And also, actually, the comics ex-wife of Man-Thing, his ex-wife actually showed up in Iron Man 3, so that's pretty cool as well. Now, as for actually the character of Man-Thing, basically, he starts off as a scientist, Dr. Theodore Ted Stallis, and then he ends up turning into this crazy swamp monster and then wants to protect the swamp. I believe there's actually a part in the comics where he actually guards some sort of multiversal portal in a swamp in Florida. So I don't know if they're going to tie that into it, given all the multiverse stuff we're doing in the MCU. I think that'd be pretty cool. But when I was doing research on this character and just reading up about this news, there were two fan casts I saw that I really liked. One of which being D. Bradley Baker, who you probably know from doing a lot of the voice work on a lot of animated Star Wars series, like on The Bad Batch. D. Bradley Baker voiced like all of the main characters on that show. He also, fun fact, did the voice of Perry the Platypus in Phineas and Ferb, so that's pretty cool. And then the other one, which I think I like even more, is Alan Tudyk, who, if you're a DC fan, you probably know as Mr. Nobody, the main villain of Doom Patrol Season 1. He also does the voice of the Joker and Harley Quinn on HBO Max, and also is currently in Resident Alien on Sci-Fi. I love that series as well. So I'm a huge fan of Alan Tudyk, and I think he would be perfect for this, because just seeing his role in Resident Alien, you can see how he can be like a nerdy scientist type guy. And then also the voice, like, I don't know if Man-Thing's gonna talk, because in the comics there's only one time, I believe, where Man-Thing actually talked and spoke, and that was like actually a recent comic run of the character written by R.L. Stine, the writer of Goosebumps. And that wasn't really well received, so I'm not sure if they're actually gonna have the character talk or not, or just like telepathically communicate with other people like it usually does in the comics. But I think Alan Tudyk would have a great voice for that if they do decide to have that character actually speak and, you know, use his voice in the series. Now, this is something I'm also really excited for because it is setting up the Midnight Suns. This is something we've been really excited for, tapping into the supernatural side of the MCU and eventually leading up to the Midnight Suns, which, for those of you who don't know, is basically kind of like supernatural Avengers, basically. You know, we've been talking about this a lot with Moon Knight, where in the comics, there's a lot of supernatural Marvel heroes who just team up and come together, like Doctor Strange and Moon Knight and Blade and Ghost Rider, and all these characters come together to form the Midnight Suns. And so we've been thinking that Kevin Feige is setting that up in the MCU with, of course, we have Doctor Strange. There's some big stuff going on, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. We got obviously Moon Knight. Blade is coming. Black Knight was kind of set up for the Midnight Suns in that Eternals post-credit scene with his connection to Blade, so that's pretty cool. I suppose like Scarlet Witch and or Agatha Harkness are always a possibility as well. And now we have upcoming the Werewolf by Night and also Man-Thing, who could also join the team as well and have been members in the comics. Also Elsa Bloodstone, I believe she's rumored to be in this Halloween special as well. But this is something that gets me really excited because, you know, Man-Thing is just such a cool character, not only with his power set, but also just the way he looks. Like, to see that character in live action will be really cool. And actually, technically, I do believe he appeared in a movie back in 2005 in live action, and it really it didn't look that great, but still, to see it on an MCU budget and see it on Disney Plus in this Halloween special, I think is going to be so cool, and this is something I'm really excited for. But guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. What do you think about this news that we may possibly be seeing Man-Thing join the MCU for the Werewolf by Night Halloween special on Disney Plus? So guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button so I can keep you up to date on everything that goes on in the Marvel life.